Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's Combo Breaker 99. I am back with another video. All right, y'all. So I just got done watching the Katlyn Chookagian post-fight interview after her fight with Viviane Araújo this past weekend. And of course, they asked her the same questions. You know, they talked about the fight, they talked about her skill set, and they asked her if she felt like she did enough to win the fight. You know, of course, she said she did. You know, I already talked about my opinion. I feel like Viviane Araújo did enough to win the fight, but I could see where she let it slip. So they talked about the fight, of course. But you know, the big question they always ask these fighters is, what's next? You know, they asked who was next for Katlyn Chookagian. And, you know, she talked about the fact that she already fought the, number 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And she has the most wins in the flyweight division in the UFC right now, right? So, you know, they asked her who was next. And the name that she brought up, which is a name she brought up a little while back, is the number 10 flyweight, Alexa Grasso. So, yeah, once again, Katlyn Chookagian, she calls out the number 10 flyweight, Alexa Grasso, while she still holds down her number 2 spot. And, now, right away, I would just go on not a rant, but I would just go on it, you know, my reasons why Katlyn Chookagian shouldn't be calling out Alexa Grasso. But she brought up an interesting factor here that kind of makes me now a fan of the fight just a little bit. It makes me a little bit interested in seeing the fight. But Alexa Grasso, you know, she's seen as one of the better boxers in WMMA. And Katlyn Chookagian, she made a note that rubs her the wrong way. You know, she said every time people bring up that Alexa Grasso has the best boxing in the division, you know, that puts like a chip on her shoulder. So now she wants to fight Alexa Grasso, and she's calling her out. You know, she wants to call her out to a fight, and she wants to prove who has the better boxing in that match. So right off top, when I first heard her call her out, of course, my normal answer to this, you know, as far as matchup, I'd say it doesn't make any sense for Katlyn Chookagian. You know, why she continue to fight down? Yeah, of course, she's fought everybody in the flyweight division, but you just fought the number 7, so now you're going to jump down 8 spots to fight the number 10 fighter, instead of trying to go on a campaign for a rematch with Valentina Shevchenko. Now, granted, we all know how that might go, but it seems like you would want that fight one more time, which is probably a bigger bag than Alexa Grasso fight, right? So normally, yeah, I would say not interested, but she did kind of make it a little bit interesting whenever she brought up the boxing aspect. You know, me being a hardcore boxing fan and just, you know, a student of the game, I'm going to be like, okay, looking at both of these fighters in the past, like I said, I did videos about Alexa Grasso and her boxing. Katlyn Chookagian, you know, I've been calling her Michael Nunn and Joe Calzaghe over the past weekend because of what she was able to do with her hands, you know, and her footwork and her gas tank and her IQ, right? So now that Alexa Grasso called her out, I actually would kind of like to see this fight because, you know, she says she feels like she has the better boxing than Alexa Grasso. But in my opinion, just off the top, just like watching these two fighters separately, to me, not even looking at it as style-wise, I feel like, in my opinion, Alexa Grasso has the better boxing. You know, I feel like she just has the better boxing skills. You know, if you look at how she applies her punches, I feel like she has the better commitment to the fundamentals. You know, I feel like she's a sharper puncher. She's more committed to her, more so committed to her jab. You know, I think she's a lot more accurate and precise with it. You know, she'll put a little bit of pop on her shots. I think she has the better footwork. You know, she moves in and out at angles, not really on the bike too much. You know, she has very solid sound defense as well, you know, with her elbows to her sides. And, you know, she's always protecting her chin as well. And, you know, just the way she puts her combinations together, they look nice. You know, they look so much more fluid. I think she fights effectively going forward and backward. You know, again, you know, when she's on the back foot, she knows how to counter with the hook. She can counter with the right hand. And when she's coming forward, she's sitting down on her shots, trying to get that respect. I think the only thing with Alexa Grasso is she just lacks that killer instinct, which is something we bring up all the time. And also, she lacks the resume. So again, that's where you could probably put it in question for Alexa Grasso, is that her boxing skills hasn't really been put up against the best fighters, you know, if you just look at her resume. And of course, she has a few losses too. So you can kind of factor that in. But if you were just to put Alexa Grasso in a boxing ring, though, this is my point. If you put her in a boxing ring, I think that she would be able to give some of these other lady boxers a lot of work, and she could possibly win a title. Hell, I think she could win a couple titles if she wanted to go into the boxing world. Now, when you look at Katlyn Chookagian, like I said this past weekend, I've been calling her Joe Calzaghe, Michael Nunn. I call her that because of her style and just her work rate. You know, I feel like she's just committed to her style of boxing, and that's a strength for her. You know, she's very committed to her style 100%. And that's the first thing about a fighter. They have to have confidence in their style, whether you think it's effective or not, whether you like it or not. You know, if you're not a fan of it, but if they're committed to it and they make it work, that's the number one thing about a fighter that can make them a better boxer. You know, she has a high work rate. She's in and out. Her feints, you know, she's a very herky-jerky. And, you know, it's just chaotic at times. You know, she's just chaotic with the style. You know, everything is coming at you at once, you know, even if that doesn't really have great power on it. And she has a gas tank for days. You know, that's a plus. That's a plus for her. And I think that's what really takes a lot out of these fighters when they fight her. You know, it kind of breaks their will. Like I said, she's not breaking jaws, but she's breaking will. Also, I would say that jab she throws, like, it's not the most accurate jab, but it can throw a fighter off, because the more and more she pops it out there, it'll kind of disrupt you, and then she's throwing something else, and by the time she's throwing a combination, you know, she's out, so you can't counter back. But the thing is, Katlyn Chookagian, she does lack power. She lacks the power, and she can be timed. So if you are a better boxer, you can time her, and you can walk her down, and you can put that pressure on her, and you can counter over the top. Like Viviane Araújo, she was countering a few times with her overhand right when she stayed in the pocket. She just didn't know how to commit to it. You know, she just didn't have that full-on IQ to execute what was working for her. You know, and again, she's not that fast. Katlyn may look fast because she's throwing work, but she can be timed, and she's not that fast. You can outspeed her, because Viviane Araújo was the faster fighter. Shevchenko, she was the faster fighter. So she isn't that fast. She's just really, really blind. She just really, really has a high work rate. But whenever you go back, man, and match them up, like if you were just to go back and look at their fights separately, I feel like Alexa Grasso just has the better grasp of the fundamentals, which is very effective. But, you know, like I always say, man, resume over skills. You know, resume over skills. And Katlyn, she has faced and beat the better opposition with her boxing. You know, she has been able to fluster these other fighters with her boxing. But if you were to put these two in the octagon, resumes aside, skill for skill, that's what it's all going to come down to. That's what it'll all come down to. And I think that Alexa Grasso is better with the boxing. I think she'll know how to handle a style like Katlyn Chookagian. Her being a student of the game, Alexa Grasso, that is. I know Katlyn Chookagian is a student of the game as well. I think that a fighter like Alexa Grasso, when you put her in there, she'll be able to make adjustments and figure Katlyn Chookagian out in that style, and she'll know how to kind of disrupt that chaotic style and neutralize her hand speed, and also cut the octagon off and be able to counter. You know, some of these other fighters, they come from other backgrounds. You know, some of these fighters that are wrestlers, you know, kickboxers, and just just more so the grapplers. You know, when you're looking at the grapplers that she's fighting, they know how to try to just walk forward and push somebody back and try to go in for takedowns. But Katlyn Chookagian, with that boxing background that she has, she can have fun with that. But I don't think she'll go in this fight with Alexa Grasso having the same type of fun. You know, she'll really have to box. She's really going to have to use her boxing IQ to a higher level than she has in the past. Because like I said, with these type of fighters, yeah, they're in the top 10, but they don't really come from the boxing background. So if you put them in there with somebody who can feint and, you know, do the windshield wiper with their jab and just step in and out and do these crazy little herky-jerky feints like Katlyn does, they're not really familiar with that. They're not really familiar with it, and they're not studying it like that. But Alexa Grasso, she really is from that. She really is cut from that cloth. So I can really see her being able to slip, counter, and, you know, just overall cut off the octagon and really get inside on the range. Like, she won't stay on the end of the jab. You know, if she can take that punch, she'll start timing it, coming back with her own sharper jab, and she'll cut that octagon off, and she'll come over the top with the right hand. So yeah, man, going into the fight though, kill switch though. Alexa Grasso going to need a kill switch though to get Katlyn Chookagian. That's how you beat Katlyn. You know, you got to really go after her and disrespect her and disrupt her. But yeah, if this is the path Katlyn Chookagian wants to go, so be it. I mean, honestly, if you are the number 2 fighter and you continue to hold down that spot, you should be calling out Valentina Shevchenko right now. You should be campaigning for a rematch, because that's what every other fighter does. You know, that's what Robert Whittaker does, right? After he got knocked out, he's been just building himself up and putting himself in a position to fight for the championship, not to fight down. I mean, I know Katlyn Chookagian, her angle right now is more so business. It's more so in finding an end game, you know, getting checks, and just, you know, probably trying to hold that record of the most wins in the flyweight division. But to me, I think that she really should be going for Valentina Shevchenko. But if she wants to put on a boxing match, look, hey, the boxer in me says go for it. Hey, good for her. You know, good on her if she gets it. So, yeah, guys, let me know in the comment section what y'all think. Who's the better boxer, Katlyn Chookagian or Alexa Grasso? Do you want to see the fight, yes or no? I'll be back with another video, more of a technical breakdown, just kind of matching them up after I go back and watch some more film of these guys. Combo Breaker 99, I'm out. Subscribe. Peace.